What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here at GSD Mode Studios with another weekly real estate tip. And today I'm here to talk to you about the things that I did to go out there and crush it my first year in real estate. How I sold 48 deals my first year. I was recently doing did a speaking event. I was a keynote guest speaker at a local event here to several hundred agents. And after I got off stage, the most common question is people were coming up, people that attended the conference were coming up and asking me questions. The most common question I got was, what did you do your first year to go out there and crush it and kill it and have that success out of the gate? Because our first year, I mean, that's a very, very difficult year, as most of you know, but it's such an important year. Now, this isn't your first year in real estate, right? All of this applies. It doesn't matter how, you might have been in the business for 20 years. Maybe you're looking to massively grow your business, transform your business, maybe you're in a rut. So whether you're new, in a rut, or just looking to grow, this advice will help you. But real quick, before I get into today's content, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and then click that bell next to that subscribe button, which will make sure that you get alerted and don't miss out on this great content. If you're watching this on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere via audio, the audio podcast, make sure to leave us a 5-star raving review. And also, you guys, make sure to share this content, share this show. It's how you support us, give back to us, which means so much to me. So if you find this helpful, if you find this beneficial, please share it. It helps us grow the show, get this message out, and allows us to continue delivering this great content to you. Okay, let's jump on in. So again, how to go out there and create big success in your business. Again, whether it's right out of the gate when you're brand new in real estate, or maybe you're in a rut, maybe you're just looking to grow your business. And there's a few things that I did as I break this down, because sometimes when, there's so many of my mentors over the years that I've had the pleasure to sit down, take to lunch, and sit down and interview. And sometimes, right, not always, but sometimes they don't know why they're successful, right? So sometimes when we're out there just taking action, we're in action, we're doing things, we don't know what we're doing that necessarily leads to that success. And getting this question really made me have to reflect and think about it with what I know now, and as I reflect back and think about it, and I can boil it down to a few main things, right? Now, the first thing, and arguably the most important thing, all of these things had to come and play, but what I feel to be the most important thing, or what I'm pretty confident to be the most important thing, is I was mentally ready, right? So we typically don't change our behaviors. We don't change our disciplines, our behaviors, our actions, however you want to frame that, until we're at a point where we're just kind of fed up, or we're sick and tired of the status quo, and we're ready to go out there and do whatever it takes to create a different scenario, a different situation, whatever that may be in our life. And that's why, most people don't start taking care of their health until they go to their doctor, and their doctor's like, dude, if you don't change your ways, you're going to be dead soon, or whatever it may be, the shocking kind of wake up moment news that they get, and they finally listen and go out there and change their ways. So I was mentally ready to do whatever it takes. I got into the industry pretty young. I was 23 years old, but my years leading up to that, from I would say 18, from graduating high school through that point in my life, so 5 years before, were some very tough years for me. I went to college because I felt like I had to go to college, but I didn't feel like that was the thing for me. It didn't really fit. I didn't know what I was doing, felt lost. Ended up dropping out of college, jumping from job to job to job. Had so many damn jobs, sometimes 2-3 jobs at a time. Man, I was just sick of the trajectory and the path of my life. I felt like a loser. I'd never made more than $30,000 in one single year, even working 2 or 3 jobs combined at a time before I jumped into real estate. And I just got to the point where I was fed up with my financial situation. I was ready to do whatever it took. And that's really what led to real estate. I didn't get into real estate like most people get into real estate. I didn't get into real estate because I loved I love homes. I love people. All of these other these common reasons I hear other people on. For me, I just wanted it just seemed like the best vehicle, quick to get licensed, didn't cost a lot of money. Right? And could go out there and there was no earning cap, right? So that was the reason I jumped into business, because of that. So I was mentally willing to do whatever it takes, but also at a place where I was just sick and tired of how my life was fucking going, and I needed and wanted a change, right? So now you may not, maybe you're watching this, you've been in the business for a while, and like that doesn't necessarily apply to me. It's not about if you're just getting into the business, right? If you're sick and tired of the results that you've been getting, Einstein has the best definition of insanity, right? Which is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Look, you cannot, if you want to grow, you got to do some totally different shit. What you have done and always done historically has gotten you to where you are in this moment. Your level of success has nothing to do with the market, has nothing to do with your area, has nothing to do with your broker or your previous boss or your spouse or anybody else but you, right? You're in full control of your own success. And unless you're at a point where you're willing to take different action, totally change the way that, not just that you think, but also your behaviors, your disciplines, your rituals, and do different things, and do whatever it takes to change that and get a better result, it's going to be very difficult to facilitate change inside your business and inside your life. So that's number one. All right, then number two, I went out, and then this happened while I was even in real estate school. I started studying producers. I started studying mentors, reading books. I knew during the real estate school, and this is one of the reasons I dropped out of college, because I'm sitting listening to my professors. I'm like, dude, this is not going to help me in life, right? I didn't know much at that point in my life. I still don't know much, but I knew at that time, like, this is just a fucking shit show, right? This is for the birds, man. Like, none of this is going to help me. I knew enough to know that, right? And in real estate school, it was the same thing. Very quickly, I realized that shit, dude. This is just like going to through a traditional education. Well, if we look at any traditional education, whether that be elementary school, junior high, high school, or college, it does not train or prep you for what's to come for your career of going out there and crushing and creating success. Unless maybe you're a nurse or a doctor, or that training actually does apply to what you're doing. But if you're going to business school like my intent was, I knew that it wasn't going to pan out. So I'm in real estate school, and I'm like, shit, like this is the same thing here, right? So I started reading books about how to create success. And real estate school would get me my license and help me with some of the contractual stuff and keep me out of trouble and look out for my client's best interest that way. But I knew enough to know that shit, this isn't going to help me find a deal. This isn't helping me business plan. This isn't helping me market. This isn't helping me with any of those things. So I went out there and again started reading books. Started when I got into business, kind of dating myself here, but this was 2005, so there's no YouTube yet. There's really no podcasts out there. So it was books, and then going out, and there's some online courses at that time. I don't know if it still exists, but I believe it's called like I Succeed, which was a monthly membership site where they would interview. It was just audio at that time online, not your typical podcast that you see now today. But I was hearing from as many top producers as I possibly could, right? And then, even as I got my license, I first joined a brokerage, which was a mistake, but I quickly adjusted and transitioned to that brokerage. I just went to the brokerage because it was close. I knew some people there, but I started looking around that office. I'm like, dude, no, there's not one person in here that inspires me to become like them inside that brokerage, right? I'm looking around, I'm like, man, this isn't the place to be. I didn't click with the owner. It just wasn't my vibe. So I then found and started researching. I'm like, who's the most badass team leader in the area? Who's the most badass agent in the area? And I found him. And luckily, that team leader also happened to be the owner of the brokerage that I was at for my first 9 years. And I intentionally sought out that office because I wanted to learn from him. Right? If I'm paying him commission fees, right? I didn't join his team, but I joined his brokerage. I could learn from him, right? I could model after him. So I aligned myself. So that's number two, is learning from the right mentors, the right people. Number three is my time management, right? So when I say time management, the structure that I had. So I see so many real estate agents that join this industry, and they don't know what to do. They're like waiting for people to tell them what to do, which nobody's going to tell you what to do, right? Unless maybe you join a team, maybe there's going to be a little more structure where they tell you what to do. But you've got to be self-motivated. You've got to go out there and create your own structure. It's up to you to show up. So I created my schedule just like I would if I was having a corporate job, and more intense. I guess today now, if you're a CEO or in a high, management leadership position, that's kind of what my schedule is like. I'd get in the office every single morning by 5 a.m., and it would be 5 to 7 a.m. That's where I'm returning and following up with any emails, returning emails, doing any updates that I had to do, updating my CRM, any of that, right? And then by 7 a.m., 7 to 9 a.m., I was doing all my lead follow-up calls. Then from 9 a.m. to noon every day was any and all paperwork that I had to do, right? So I wanted to make sure that every single day by noon on, that I was pounding the pavement time. So that means I was either with a client, servicing a client that I already had, on a listing appointment or a buyer appointment to get a new client. And if I wasn't doing one of those things, I was pounding the pavement to go out there and lead generate and get new clients, right? And no matter what, every single day, I followed that schedule and I would grind and grind and grind until 7 o'clock every single night. And if I had clients that go later, I'd go later. But I stuck to that schedule for my first year in the business. And after my first year, I was able to hire an assistant and really continue a very similar schedule to that after the fact. But for my first year, stuck with that schedule, right? I just didn't, I didn't pay attention to what others were doing in my office, in the industry. And what I mean by that is I paid attention to what the producers were doing. And I always saw the producers out there and the mentors that I had going out there making it rain, right? They're going out there and generating business constantly. So I constantly was doing that each and every day and had that focus. So again, just to recap those three things was mentally, I was prepared and ready, and I got clarity on what I was sick and tired of with the status quo, what I wanted my life to look like going forward in the future, and I was mentally prepared and willing and able to do whatever it took to change my own personal reality, right? So that was number one. Number two was that I learned from the greats. I align with the right mentors. You don't need to know your mentors, right? They could be books. They can be, I could be your mentor through this podcast, right? You don't need to know me on a personal level. You can learn from others and have mentors, right? I don't care if the mentor is no longer even alive today. It can still be a mentor that you can learn from, but I'm making sure I'm learning from the right people. Only the people, and this is one of my rules of thumbs when I'm learning from anybody, is they must created the level of success that I want to create in that aspect of my life. They must have created that level of success in their own life. Those are the people I want to learn from, right? Then number three, I set a very hardcore schedule and I followed it each and every single day. Got an office at the office, followed that structure, showed up each and every day, and got my hustle on and grinded it out. So those three things led to that success. And you got to consistently do that each and every day and consistently do these things and operate in those ways. And to be honest with you, every big growth phase that I've had has had those three things in common, right? I've yet to experience one growth, huge growth leap in my life and in my business where those three things haven't all come into alignment. And they're so damn important. So I hope you found this helpful. Real quick before we leave, make sure to check us out at gsdmode.com so you can check out more great content just like this, as well as a ton of other content that we're always creating, daily content we're pushing out, as well as a bunch of other tools, resources, tips, and things to help you explode your real estate business. Make sure to check out growmyrealestatebusiness.com, which is my 3-hour in-depth masterclass where I show you everything that I know at this point in my life and my career, everything that's led me to becoming one of the top real estate agents and team leaders on the planet. Yes, it's 3 hours. Yes, I know it's long, but look, people sit down and watch a 3-hour, game. We got to invest that time into our real estate businesses. And the reason that it's long is because I go hardcore, I go in depth. I show you everything I'm doing, everything, all my systems, everything that in my belief throughout my journey that you need to have dialed in your business to create success. I not only show you what to do and how to do it, but I also give you the resources that you need and give you the guides that you need afterwards, all for free, so you can go implement, execute on these things to create your own success and implement everything that you've learned. Also, make sure to join the private Facebook group. We have a GSD Mode Podcast Facebook group. There'll be a link below. Nothing is allowed to be sold inside that group. We have a very strict policy on that. Just 12,000 plus real estate agents from all over the planet, and they're masterminding and a safe place for us to go out there and learn, grow, and connect, and continue kicking ass. All right, thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and I will see you next time. Peace.